Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the 12 new Middleweight Motorcycles 2026. Number 12, Royal Enfield Bullet 650. The Royal Enfield Bullet 650 steps into 2026 with a cleaner shape and a stronger stance. The tank sits taller with smoother sides, the fenders run longer, and the chrome bits are toned down for a calmer look. At about 450 pounds, it has a grounded feel that suits city roads and steady highway use in the USA. Under that fresh shell sits the familiar 650 Twin, tuned for quiet pull at low and mid revs. It builds speed in a smooth and steady way, never jumpy, and stays cool even in slow traffic. Riders who use it for daily runs will like how the motor saves fuel and holds simple upkeep. The 2026 build brings small but useful extras. The headlight now uses stronger LED units, the dash mixes analog charm with a small digital pod, and the switchgear feels more solid than before. The price stays one of its main draws. In the USA, the Bullet 650 is set to land around $8,000 to $8,500 depending on paint. Overall, the Royal Enfield Bullet 650 brings a cleaner shape, calmer ride, and fair cost in a way that makes it stand out as one of the most sensible picks for 2026. Number 11, Honda Shadow Aero. The Honda Shadow Aero rolls into 2026 with a fresh outside look that leans even more into its classic cruiser shape. The long fenders sit closer to the wheels, the tank gets smoother curves, and the chrome has been toned down just enough to keep it clean without losing its old-school charm. The seat is wide and low, giving riders a planted feel, and with a weight near 540 pounds, it holds steady on long straight roads that many riders in the USA deal with. In the engine slot, Honda keeps its proven V-twin that focuses on calm pull rather than quick jumps. The power builds slow and steady, which fits the relaxed cruiser style. The throttle response is soft, which helps new riders, and the gearing gives enough push for open road speeds without stressing the motor. The 2026 model brings a few small upgrades that make daily use easier. The lighting now uses stronger LEDs, the seat foam has been reworked for longer comfort, and the fork tuning gives smoother travel over rough sections. The wide bars keep the steering light at low speeds, and the low seat height makes parking and tight turns much easier. Expect a tag close to $9,000 to $9,500 in the USA, depending on the paint. Overall, the Honda Shadow Aero holds its place as a calm, steady, and freshly updated cruiser that gives riders strong value and a smooth ride in 2026. Number 10, Suzuki Boulevard C50. The Suzuki Boulevard C50 enters 2026 with a cleaner outside profile that leans even more into its classic cruiser shape. The seat stays low and wide, giving a planted feel at stops, and with a weight close to 590 pounds, it feels solid on long straight stretches that many riders in the USA cover. The engine setup stays centered on Suzuki's Trident and Calm V-twin, tuned for steady pull at low and mid speeds. It does not rush or kick, and that steady response makes it a good match for newer riders and anyone who wants slow, smooth roll-on power. The motor stays cool in traffic, and upkeep costs stay friendly since the design is simple and proven. For 2026, Suzuki adds a few helpful touches. The LED headlight gives better road throw, the seat padding has been firmed up for longer comfort, and the rear shock tuning eases the sharp hits from rough patches. The wide bars keep steering light in parking lots, and the low seat height makes the bike easy to manage at low speeds. The Boulevard C50 keeps its place as one of the more reachable cruisers in its class. In the USA, expect a tag around $9,000 to $9,300 depending on the finish. Overall, the Suzuki Boulevard C50 brings a calm engine, a fresh outside look, and steady comfort that make it a strong pick for riders who want a classic cruiser in 2026. Number 9, Honda CB500X. The Honda CB500X arrives in 2026 with a sharper outside shape that moves it closer to a tall, upright street machine. The front fairing has been trimmed for a cleaner look, the headlight leans forward a bit more, and the tank sides now flow smoothly into the seat. The windscreen is slightly taller this year, helping riders on long open roads. At about 440 pounds, it stays light enough for daily city use while still feeling steady on wide highways in the USA. In the engine bay, Honda keeps its steady twin that focuses on smooth pull and low-stress riding. It builds power in a calm and predictable way, which helps riders hold speed without sudden jumps. The motor stays cool even in slow traffic, and upkeep stays on the low side thanks to Honda's simple and proven layout. The 2026 model packs a few new extras. The fork gets reworked internals for better control over rough patches. The LED setup now shines brighter at night, and the foot peg layout gives more room for taller riders. ABS comes standard, and the dash shows clean info with a backlight that is easier to read under sun. The CB500X keeps its pricing well within reach. In the USA, expect a tag around $7,000 to $7,500 depending on color. Overall, the Honda CB500X offers a fresh outside look, steady power, and solid upgrades that make it a smart and well-balanced pick for 2026. Number 8. Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. The Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 moves into 2026 with a smoother outside shape and a bit more polish than before. The long tank now blends better into the seat, the side panels sit tighter to the frame, and the fenders have a cleaner curve. The wide seat keeps the rider low, giving a planted feel at stops. With a weight close to 540 pounds, it feels settled on long highway runs that many USA riders handle each week. In the engine slot, the brand keeps its trusted 650 twin. The pull stays calm at low and mid speeds, making it easy to handle in slow zones and steady during weekend miles. The motor avoids harsh feel, stays cool in crawling traffic, and holds simple upkeep because of its clean layout. The 2026 update adds a few small but helpful touches. The LED headlight shines stronger with a wider spread at night, the switchgear feels firmer, and the fork tuning gives smoother travel over uneven patches. The seat foam has been changed for longer comfort, and the mid-height bars keep shoulder strain low. The Super Meteor 650 keeps its price in a fair bracket for riders who want a twin-engine cruiser without paying premium rates. In the USA, expect a tag near $8,500 to a bit under $9,000 depending on finish. Overall, the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 brings fresh looks, steady power, and real comfort, making it a strong and sensible pick for 2026. Number 7. Suzuki GSX-8T. The Suzuki GSX-8T steps into 2026 with a sharper outside style built around clean angles and a tighter front end. The fairing wraps closer to the frame, the headlight is slimmer, and the tank gets a more compact shape that helps riders grip better. The seat sits at a mid-height, giving a balanced feel in traffic, and with a weight close to 460 pounds, it stays light enough for daily use in the USA while still feeling solid on wider roads. Inside the frame sits Suzuki's strong parallel twin, tuned for smooth pull across the mid-range. It delivers steady power without harsh jumps and holds cool temps even in slow-moving traffic. The throttle response feels direct but not jumpy, which helps newer riders build confidence and gives skilled riders enough punch for quick passes. The 2026 model adds a few helpful upgrades that boost comfort and control. The suspension gets revised damping to reduce sharp hits from rough patches, and the LED system now throws brighter light with a wider spread at night. The seat padding is slightly firmer for long rides, and the bar height sits just right for an upright stance that reduces wrist strain. Expect a tag around $9,000 to $9,500 depending on color and trim. Overall, the Suzuki GSX-8T brings a sharper shape, smooth power, and smart updates that make it one of the most appealing middleweight picks for 2026. Number 6. A Triumph Speed 400. The Triumph Speed 400 enters 2026 with a cleaner outside shape that makes it look tighter and more focused. The tank sits shorter with smooth edges, the front end carries a compact round headlight with a brighter LED unit, and the fenders keep a simple cut that fits the light body. The seat is slim but not harsh, giving enough room for mixed rides, and with a weight close to 370 pounds, it stays easy to move through city traffic. In the engine slot sits a single cylinder tuned for steady mid-range pull. It builds speed in a calm and predictable way, helping the bike feel settled even when pushed a bit harder. The throttle feel stays smooth, letting riders handle low speed moves without any sudden jumps. The 2026 update brings a few touches that help daily use. The fork settings have been softened slightly to handle rough patches better, and the rear shock gives a bit more support when carrying extra weight. The riding stance stays upright with mid-height bars, keeping wrists relaxed during longer rides. ABS comes standard and the steering remains light at slow speeds. The Speed 400 stays in a very reachable cost zone for riders across the USA. Expect a tag close to $5,000 to $5,500 depending on color. Overall, the Triumph Speed 400 brings a tight shape, calm power, and fair pricing that make it a solid and practical choice for 2026. Number 5. Honda Shadow Phantom. The Honda Shadow Phantom steps into 2026 with a darker and cleaner look that sets it apart from past years. Most of the chrome has been swapped for muted metal, giving the bike a low and calm presence. The tank has a longer slope, the fenders sit tighter to the wheels, and the frame lines flow in a smoother way. The seat stays low and wide, keeping riders close to the ground, and with a weight near 550 pounds, it feels planted on long straight roads. Inside sits Honda's Steady V-twin tuned for quiet pull with a smooth roll-on feel. It does not rush to its peak. Instead, it gives a slow swell of power that suits relaxed cruising. The gearing has been balanced to hold highway pace without forcing the motor to work hard, giving a calm hum during long stretches. For 2026, Honda adds a few touches that make the Shadow Phantom easier to use day to day. The LED lighting brings a stronger beam with a cleaner cutoff. The bars have a slight sweep that eases wrist strain, and the fork settings soften rough cracks in the road. The foot pegs are set a bit forward, giving a stretched but steady stance that many cruiser riders prefer. The price keeps this bike within reach for riders who want a cruiser without touching premium brackets. In the USA, expect the Shadow Phantom to land around $8,000 to $8,400 depending on finish. Overall, the Honda Shadow Phantom delivers a smoother style, calm power, and fair pricing that make it a strong pick for riders who want a dark-themed cruiser for the new year. Number 4. Yamaha MT-07. The Yamaha MT-07 rolls into 2026 with a sharper skin that leans more toward a street fighter stance. The tank edges are cut cleaner, the headlight sits lower with a tighter LED unit, and the side panels hug the frame in a smoother way than before. The seat keeps a mid-height position that works for short and long rides, and at roughly 405 pounds, the bike feels light on its feet when weaving through tight spaces. Power comes from the well-known twin that has made this model so popular. It builds torque early, giving a quick push the moment the throttle is cracked open. The surge is steady rather than rough, which helps riders keep full control even when they speed up fast. This year, Yamaha adds a few solid upgrades that change how the bike feels day to day. The fork gets revised internals to handle bumps with less shake, and the rear shock gives firmer support during quick direction changes. The seat padding has been reshaped for longer comfort, and the wider bar angle offers better leverage at low speeds. The MT-07 remains in a fair cost zone for what it offers. Expect a price tag near $8,000 to $8,500 depending on color and trim. Overall, the Yamaha MT-07 brings sharper looks, stronger mid-range pull, and a set of updates that keep it one of the most fun middleweight options for 2026. Number 3. Kawasaki Vulcan S. The Kawasaki Vulcan S steps into 2026 with a sleeker, more modern exterior that keeps its cruiser roots while looking lighter on the eye. The tank has smoother curves, the side panels are tighter to the frame, and the front fender runs slightly longer for a balanced appearance. The seat is low and wide, giving riders a grounded feel, and at about 520 pounds, it handles straight roads and curves with calm stability. The engine powering the Vulcan S is a parallel twin, tuned for smooth delivery at low and mid speeds. It pulls steadily without sudden spikes, making it approachable for newer riders while still offering enough push for open roads. Kawasaki adds a few thoughtful upgrades this year. The LED headlight spreads light more evenly, The seat padding has been reworked for longer rides, and the fork damping is softer to handle rough patches without jarring the rider. The bars sit at a comfortable height for an upright position, reducing strain on wrists, and ABS remains standard for safer stopping under sudden braking. Pricing stays reasonable for this updated middleweight cruiser. Expect the Vulcan S to land around $7,500 to $8,000 depending on trim. Overall, the Kawasaki Vulcan S blends smoother lines, calm engine performance, and practical updates, making it a versatile and appealing middleweight cruiser for 2026. Number 2. Triumph Trident 800. The Triumph Trident 800 enters 2026 with a refreshed street-focused look that sharpens its aggressive stance. The tank edges are more angular, the headlight cluster is slimmer with LED elements, and the side panels now hug the frame more tightly. The seat is narrow but supportive, giving the bike a compact and nimble feel, and at roughly 425 pounds, it balances agility with stability for spirited rides. Under the frame sits Triumph's inline-3 engine, tuned for smooth yet lively performance across the mid-range. The throttle response is immediate but controlled, giving strong pull without harsh spikes. The gearing has been fine-tuned for 2026, offering both quick bursts in the city and steady roll on open roads. The latest model adds a few functional touches to enhance riding comfort and control. Suspension internals have been updated to smooth out bumps, the seat foam is reshaped for longer stretches, and the bars sit at a slightly wider angle to reduce wrist strain. ABS remains standard for safety in sudden stops or slippery conditions. The Trident 800 maintains a competitive price for its class. Expect a tag around $9,500 to $10,000 depending on finish. Overall, the Triumph Trident 800 offers a sharp new look, responsive mid-range performance, and practical updates that make it one of the most exciting middleweight street bikes for 2026. Number 1. Honda Rebel 500. The Honda Rebel 500 steps into 2026 with a cleaner, more compact exterior that emphasizes minimalism and a modern cruiser vibe. The tank edges are smoother, the fenders sit tighter to the wheels, and the frame lines flow in a way that makes the bike look lighter and more approachable. The low seat keeps the rider close to the ground, while the bike's weight of roughly 420 pounds gives it a balanced, easy-to-handle feel for both city streets and open roads. Power comes from Honda's parallel twin, tuned for smooth and predictable pull. The motor builds steadily without harsh surges, making acceleration calm yet confident. Heat management has been improved to stay comfortable in slow traffic, and the simple engine layout keeps maintenance costs low. Honda adds a few practical updates for daily comfort and control. The seat padding is slightly firmer for longer journeys, the fork and rear shock have been tuned for smoother travel over bumps, and the handlebars sit at a relaxed angle to reduce wrist strain. Pricing keeps the Rebel 500 within reach for riders looking for a reliable and updated cruiser. Expect a tag around $6,500 to $7,000 depending on finish. Overall, the Honda Rebel 500 blends fresh styling, calm engine performance, and thoughtful 2026 updates, making it a versatile and inviting middleweight cruiser for the new year. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.